And now, another exciting episode of As the River Churns.
All right, we are live and in person.
Yes.
Here from the multi-purpose room at River Landing.
Yes,
Isn't it exciting?
it is.
Yes.
There we are, on the monitor too.
We are on the monitor, yeah.
Are you guys out there?
Yes.
I can't see anybody.
There's a few of them.
Okay. Can
Yep.
you see them in that little bitty, thing? Okay. Yeah, your eyes are better than mine.
So do
Yeah.
you think the monitor actually makes us look better or worse than if it was in real person?
Probably worse.
I have no
Think so?
comment.
I think it makes us look worse.
I don't know. The good news is we're kind of far away, so maybe it looks a little better. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. I don't know about
Distance
that.
is your friend, and poor eyesight. Yeah.
Oh,
Well, happy Wednesday, everybody.
Hump
yes.
Yes,
Woohoo.
I hope everybody's recovered from the fact that, Phil saw a shadow yesterday and 6 more weeks of winter. I was bummed, but,
But we were expecting it.
we were kind of
Right.
expecting it, right?
Yeah.
So, the way I look at it, Phil's in Pennsylvania. We're a long way away from Pennsylvania.
That's true.
What happens in Pennsylvania stays in Pennsylvania as far as I'm concerned, and we have our own thing here. So.
Yep, I like that.
I did an experiment last night. I decided that, if we had to have a Puxatawny Phil, then I needed to have a Oak Ridge Ella to do my forecasting and
There you go.
prognosticating.
And how did she do?
Well, she didn't see her shadow, so that was good because I never flashed the light at her. So it was really good in that she didn't see her shadow. So, Oak Ridge Ella, my dog, has decided that we're going to have an early spring this year. So I'm going with that.
I like it.
I'm sorry,
I like
Phil, but I'm just going to go with that.
Yes. I like the local factor, too.
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
you had bought a pig or something, but it's just your dog.
No, this is my
Okay.
dog.
Okay.
Yeah.
The pigs are just here.
I know how you're into pigs.
I am into pigs. This
Yeah.
is cool.
Yep.
And if I wasn't before, I certainly am now. That's for sure, right?
So after the river churns, like someday, we probably aren't going to be doing this like we're
Yes.
doing it now.
Yeah.
Because people will have much better things to do. So what will we do with the pigs?
I was thinking about that. I
Okay.
was thinking it might be nice. You tell me if you like this.
Okay.
I thought we'd create a little area somewhere on the community that, remember COVID.
Oh,
And then we could have the pigs on display and we could have,
And people can throw rocks at them. I love it.
well, if that makes it feel good. Obviously, my idea of using glass would not be a good idea if that's the case. But yes, we could do that.
and we could put a River Landing mask with it? I mean, like
Yes.
memories of COVID.
Good.
Or we could have a pig picking. I like that better. Let's cook those things.
That is not a bad idea.
That's a good idea.
That is not a bad idea. So.
Oh,
We could throw in the painting with it too. Give it a little saucy taste.
You know what?
Ken, that poor
He
pig
may be onto
painting.
something, though.
Okay.
So maybe what I'm thinking, because I'm kind of taking what he's and
Okay.
running with it a little bit. So maybe, when we go back to fully without being worried about COVID anymore, maybe we go ahead and retire that picture and put another picture up, and then we auction that picture off to the highest bidder. What do you think?
He's a very
I'm
popular
speechless.
pig. He's a very popular pig.
He is popular, but I think he's in a good spot.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't know. I have to think about that one.
You could always buy it and then leave it there.
There's a lot of people that pay a lot more than I would to see
Take
that
it down.
pig gone.
Yeah. No, it's a fundraising.
It is a fundraiser.
genius. Yeah, it is.
It's a fundraiser. It is.
For the meal packaging, we can buy more meals with the pig picture.
That's all we need is another fundraiser, right?
Ooh, a reverse auction thing. Yeah. Ooh, or your pigs could go too. Yeah.
That's
Well, I
right.
don't know.
That's
I'm kind
right.
of partial to my
Okay.
pigs now at this point.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Anyway, yeah, so it's fun to think about that. And we're going to get into this a little bit, but, with our second vaccine clinic coming up next week, it's kind of fun to start thinking about
Future.
where we could get to,
Right.
I
Right.
mean,
Absolutely.
I know there's still a lot of ifs out there and all with the vaccines and what they can and can't do, and are they going to be able to protect us from the variants that are out there and all that stuff. But, I still think we're in a good shape here at this point, and it's fun to start thinking about a little bit about where we could be for the future here.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
we'll talk about that a little bit later.
You know, Billy Crystal had his vaccine, and he said it's not because he was a celebrity.
Yeah.
He said he had a pre-existing condition, which he identified as terror.
Ah. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's
pretty good.
It's the case for some.
It
of our
is,
folks.
it
We know
is.
that, right?
Some have been very
Yeah.
scared of it. So, yeah, that's true.
Okay, Lisa, what are we starting with today?
Okay, so, well, before we get into the trivia, I had this, I thought a very funny thing come from Barbara Curran, and we couldn't get it onto the photo of the day, so I just wanted to read it.
Read it.
Lockdown can only go 4 ways. You'll come out a monk, a hunk, a chunk, or a drunk. Choose wisely. That kind of sums it up, right there. You're right? It sums it up, Ken.
We could invite one of each representative on the show. That would be great.
You know, the hard part for me on this one is I think I can identify with all 4 doing this whole thing.
Can you be all 4? I don't know.
Well, I was a
don't
chunk
know.
at one time, and I'm not so sure I'm a hunk, but I've lost some of the chunk. And a drunk, well, I think we've all had our bits with that. What was the other one?
A monk.
Monk.
Well,
Religious experiences.
Maybe.
Absolutely.
it's been a religious experience in a lot of ways.
If you're locked in a little room, you're halfway there.
See? So I just thought that was very fitting, because how true, actually.
Yeah.
So, and we encourage that, because our trivia prize today is a bottle of wine. So
Go figure.
we're encouraging the last one, apparently. So,
Blue Quail, 2016.
see?
A good year.
Good year? Yep. Okay, and it's a Super Bowl question, because what's Sunday?
Super Bowl.
Super Bowl. And this question today is a 2-parter,
2-parter.
and it's from Shirley Bear.
Yes.
Okay, and the prize, of course, is the wine. You're going to call Michelle, 336-389-4103. Okay, her line is ready. Here's the question.
You have to get both parts right,
You
right?
do, you do.
So we're going to go ahead and take the first caller, right, that gets both parts right.
Yes,
So,
yeah, because people might have to check out this one.
yeah.
Okay, which Super Bowl did not have a Roman numeral in its title, and which 2 teams played in that game? The line is now open. Which Super Bowl did not have a Roman numeral in its title, and which 2 teams played in that game?
Okay.
Okay.
We'll see what happens.
It's out
with
there.
that, right? All right. Michelle hasn't gone running out of the room yet, so
Not
you still have
yet.
time to call. So,
Oh,
there's a call
first
coming
caller.
in. All right. We'll see if that's the right one. It may not be the right one. Well, while she's doing that, let's get everybody caught up on the latest statistics from the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services. And, you know, good news this week for the most part. You're still seeing somewhat of a downward trend in our state numbers and in our county numbers. But listen to this. From last week to this week, 433,636 tests were done. That's 62,000 a day. Do you remember when we used to talk about the fact that if they ever got to 10,000 tests, that they would be
Yes.
very happy because they were 62,000 a day they're doing
Wow.
right now.
That's
So,
incredible.
It is incredible. Out of that 433,636 tests, 43,297 were positive. So that's 9.98%.
Oh, we dipped below
It's
10.
dipping.
And that's
Yep.
why I did it that way, because usually I just round up.
Yep.
I want to show that we're actually
Right,
below
right.
10%.
Yep.
And we were 10.3 last week. So we're seeing a little bit of a, which is really good. We're starting to see that really start to drop a little bit. So love to see it go way further than that. And even Guilford County this week, you know, for the first time in probably the last month and a half,
Yeah.
maybe, is down below 10% for the first time.
Yep.
So that's really good too. But the other good news is the number of hospitalizations have dropped again. So we went down almost 600 in number. We're 2,706 currently hospitalized. Unfortunately, our deaths went up, and so I'm hoping that's not the reason the hospitals are dropping because of the deaths, but it could be part of it anyway. We had 663 deaths in the last week. Wow. That's, if my math is right, that's getting close to 100 a day. That's a lot of North Carolinians dying. That's really hard. Let's see. So when we look at the counties, again, I look at the 14-day rolling rate per 100,000 residents. And so for Forsyth County, last week they were 841. This week it's 792. So we're seeing, again, a downward trend there. As a matter of fact, they're all downward trends. Guilford went from 829 to 797. Durham went from 567 to 550. Mecklenburg 931 to 835. And Wake County went from 811 to 778. And just in case you were wondering, we chose those 5 counties because those are the ones that have the highest number of cases in them. So, not that the other counties aren't important, but that's kind of the ones we've been tracking since the beginning here, and I just thought I'd share that. I also went back to the Worldometer website just to see, every once in a while I like to look to see where does North Carolina fall in the states, and when you look at all 50 states, where do we fall in certain categories? So I went back to look at that again. If you look at just the pure numbers of positive cases since the beginning of COVID, we're number 10 in the country. And that's telling in one way, but also keep in mind, North Carolina is one of the more heavily populated states in the country as well. So, I look at it that's all kind of relative. But when you look at total positive cases per 1 million in population, and we know that North Carolina has 10.3 million people in it, we are actually 36th in the country with where we fall as far as that number. And then if you look at total deaths per 1 million in population, we're 41st in the country as far as that goes. When obviously the higher number we are, the better in these cases, because that means we're further back. And not that we want to wish that on any other states, but I think it kind of shares a little bit about the percentage based upon the number of people that live in each of the states. So just as a reference, so we were 36 with the cases, and 2 weeks ago we were 38. So we've come back up a little bit, which as far as deaths go, we went from 40th a couple weeks ago to 41st. So it's dropped a little further, which is good. So anyway, I think that's part of the statistics, and then we get into the nursing homes and the residential care facilities. 45,020 of the 776,307 cases have come from nursing homes and retirement communities. That's 5.8%. We've been running right around there for the last several weeks. Number of deaths, we've had 4,243 as compared to 9,578. That's 44.3%, and we have just seen that percentage go down. And then as far as outbreaks go, that number in nursing homes and retirement communities continues to climb. Well, it did again this week. We were at 696 last week. 697 last week. We're at 713 this week, so that's a gain of 16 more. So, unfortunately, this is still going on. I'm really kind of hoping, I'm just going to be honest with you, I've been kind of following this particular statistic a little bit more of recent, and the reason I'm following that a little bit more is because we know that nursing homes are being targeted as far as the vaccines go, and so I'm really hoping and expecting to see that this is going to start dropping once the vaccines start really taking effect. A lot of the communities, a lot of the nursing homes, retirement communities have all had their first shots by now, and so like us now, they're all getting lined up for their second shot. So I'm really kind of hoping, and this will be one of those things that'll lag behind a little bit for a little while, but I think in another month, I think we're really going to be interesting to go back in a month now and just see where we were compared to where we are today. And I really think that we're going to start seeing that cresting over the hill and coming back the other way. Could be wrong, but I think that's going to be right. And then the last one I have, which I think is always fascinating too, the state the Department of Health and Human Services for North Carolina continues to change their website around a little bit, but they're doing more information about vaccines being administered. So in our state, so far, they have done 1,142,000, almost 1,143,000 doses that have been administered. 1 million of those have been provided by North Carolina providers, which is mostly the hospital systems that are doing that, and a few others. And there have been almost 113,000 that have been distributed under the federal long-term care program. And that is us. That's who we are, because we fall underneath that. Obviously, with our long-term care, being a long-term care facility, we fall underneath that. So we know that when we look at that 113,000, 1,000 of that came from here at River Landing, and next week it'll be it should be 1,000 more that will be contributing towards that. So, and then the last thing I have is just the doses administered in Forsyth and in Guilford County. In Forsyth County, the number of doses has been 46,269, and in Guilford 41,340. So, we're getting there, slowly, but getting there. And, we're seeing, here we've got the good fortune that, our residents are getting it right here, which is great. CVS coming out and helping us out, but there are a lot of folks out there, and I think a lot of our residents know folks that are out there that are having trouble getting it, or
Absolutely.
They might be lucky enough to find a provider that's doing it. There's a lot of these large-scale vaccination things that are going on at the Coliseum and in different places in the different counties. And I know of several people that have told me that they're trying to help their father or their mother, not here, but father and mother in different places get the vaccines, and they're calling 8 or 9 different places trying to get in. And
You're standing in line, and
yes, that's the hard part. They get an appointment, then it gets canceled, and that's
Yep.
really what's messing things up, unfortunately. But it's getting there. I saw an interview with Moderna chief operating officer, chief executive officer, or whatever he was, and they're trying to ramp up production as well, and I'm sure Pfizer's doing the same thing. The Johnson & Johnson one, I think, is getting closer and closer to being able to come to fruition, and I believe there's another one besides that. Those are the 3 I got committed to memory. I know there's another one I think
there
that's out
is.
that I can't remember the name of it at this point, but the more of these vaccines.
AstraZeneca?
Was that?
AstraZeneca?
AstraZeneca,
Yes.
that's it, AstraZeneca.
Yep.
So, the more of these that finally get approved for the emergency use through the FDA, those will be that many more vaccines that are going to come in. And I really, and maybe I'm just being very optimistic, y'all, but I feel it turning, and I feel a positivity coming because of this, getting the first shots here and just starting to see, and we're hearing some good things, which we'll talk about, about even our residents that have gotten COVID, that, they're not having the major symptoms.
Right,
that,
and recovering quicker.
and recovering quicker, and so, that is all just really good news to me. And, if we can keep people out of the hospitals, and, even if they get it, if they have more like flu-like symptoms and they have it for a few days, well, that's much better than, what it could be, right?
Right,
So,
absolutely.
So I just got this real positive feeling about this, that that our good Lord's at work, and that we're starting to make some headway here. Everybody's kind of been talking about when do we get to that point where it's, is it June, is it May, is it July or August, or is it September? And the hard part is nobody really knows, I think, at this point. But every day we're making a step closer to that, and so we just got to kind of hang in there and bear with it until we get to that point. But I'm excited about here, and
Absolutely.
we'll talk about this in a little bit. But that bubble that we're talking about, that we're trying to create here. So, okay, I think I've done all I can do with that. Oh, and I guess I better need to report about the testing, right, that we've done.
Right. So since last week, because we did report on our show last week, the numbers we were at.
Yep.
We've only had one more new case, which was just tested last night.
Yeah.
So it's fresh to us. That's why there's nothing out there yet. It literally just became aware to us.
Yeah.
One person did test positive in independent living, but it is contained to that one person.
So there's
right,
no...
Right. There's no tracing or anything.
We don't have to do any tracing
right,
on it, because
right.
we know that we know how this person got it, we think.
Exactly.
And we also know that they were not in a position to transmit.
They weren't. So.
And again, we've got now over 3 weeks worth of immunity building up inside of us. So,
Right.
I just
And
feel
this
like
person's asymptomatic.
Yeah. That's
So
the other
it
good
was
thing,
just a situation they were in that they happened to be tested for something.
Yeah.
Not going for that, but it ended up being one of the tests they had. And once again, the doctor's saying because they had the vaccine, they're seeing this more.
Yeah.
That people are not having the symptoms, but
Yeah,
they can still test for it.
They can still
They
test
can
for
still
it.
test positive, but the symptoms are either lighter or just non-existent. So another
Yeah.
case of that.
Yeah, the hard part about this it still is there's not an answer to this question, which is, if you get it after having the vaccine, we already know that
Right.
if you get it, that we know it's going to be less. I
Right,
mean, your
right.
symptoms are going to be less if you have any symptoms at all.
Yep.
The big question is still out there is, can you shed it? Can you still shed it at this
Mm-hmm.
point, and give it to other people? And I think we're still probably a month or two away from really knowing
Right,
that,
right.
whether or not we're at that
Right.
point or not. But my philosophy still is, though, even if you're in a position where you can shed it,
Mm-hmm.
if you're shedding it around people that are already vaccinated, they're
Right.
not
Chances
going
are
to, they're
that-
not either not going to get it, 95% chance they're not going to get it,
Right,
or 5%
right.
the chance that they get it and they'll be asymptomatic or have very few symptoms. And so, we were talking about this.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of then starts to feel more like a flu
Right,
than
right.
it does
Something that we'll just have to live with, to
Something
be
we
able
have to live
to
with at
manage
that
through,
point. Yeah.
right. Like
So-
we did the flu. I mean, in a typical year, we have a lot of folks that get the flu,
Yeah.
but we don't.
Not
where
this year because nobody's
It was
seeing each other.
different. Nobody saw each other.
It's hard to get the flu when you can't pass it to someone.
Exactly, no other sicknesses like that spread because we couldn't see each other and we
No,
all
that's
had
right.
masks on.
No.
But that's not a sustainable living either,
No, it's
to be
not.
able to, so we just have to learn to live with some of those things, and the vaccine gives us a 95% chance at that.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
The flu shot, that's a very, flu shot doesn't even provide anywhere near that.
No, that's right.
So, I mean, it's pretty good, 95% is pretty good.
No,
So,
and I'm just going to say this again. I think this is the good Lord looking out for our community. We could have had the Pfizer vaccine instead of the Moderna, and I'm not saying the Pfizer is worse than the Moderna, but we're finding more and more. It seems like that the Moderna vaccine is, having some positive effect against the variants that are out
Absolutely.
there, and so,
Yep.
I'm just being very thankful that we ended up with the Moderna because I
Me
really,
too.
at first, I thought we were going to end up with the Pfizer. And again,
Right.
I don't think there's anything really wrong with the Pfizer.
Right.
I just think that the data's out there seems to support that the Moderna might
Mm-hmm.
actually be even a little bit better protective than
Right,
some of the
right.
other vaccines
Yep.
that are out there. So, what a blessing for our community
Mm-hmm.
that we ended up with the Moderna vaccine. So,
absolutely.
okay.
Of course, our healthcare staff are testing. We don't have any results from that this week.
Yeah.
So
No, not
that's
yet.
still
We'll probably
too
get them
soon.
later
They
today
tested
or
yesterday,
tonight, yeah.
so.
Now, we did, and I think we put a letter out about
Yeah.
this already,
This
but
past weekend, I believe.
yeah, we put that out. But, just a reminder, we're still testing twice a week for our staff, and we're testing residents once a week over there. And I put out that out this weekend that we had a couple residents and a staff member that tested positive. The interesting thing is, and this is the first time this has happened to us, and it's just being full disclosure. On Wednesday after our show, we got the results back that said it was Wednesday evening that we had 6 staff members in our healthcare center that tested positive, and we're like, and there wasn't a rhyme or reason to it. It was a staff member that was in this building, another staff member in this building, and it's like,
No connection.
doesn't make any
Right,
sense. So our
right.
team came back in Wednesday night. God bless them. They all came back in Wednesday night, and they started testing residents, and they started testing the staff members with our rapid test. And it was interesting that the 6 staff members that had tested positive, 5 of the 6 on the rapid tests came back negative. And we're like, okay, something doesn't seem right here. And so there was a phone call made to our lab, and we told them what we had discovered, and they said, well, we're not going to report this to the state yet because it sounds like it could be that we had some bad tests. Let's test your folks again, which this was already Wednesday night. We're going to be testing again tomorrow. Let's just test them again and see what the results of that are. And fortunately, the next day after we got the results back on Friday evening, I think it was it Friday evening, maybe Saturday morning,
Yep.
we got the results back that said that these 5 people were not positive. So, which was really great because, we don't lose those 5 staff
Right,
members
right,
over in the
right.
healthcare center, at least not for any long period of time if we can help it. We sit here and think the testing is 100%.
Right,
And
right.
it's just not. There's
True.
still a lot of variables that can make
Yep.
it not be 100%.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say that we shouldn't be doing testing,
Mm-hmm.
because I think it's still the right way to go. But, nothing's perfect, right?
Right.
So, but anyway, the good news is everybody now that, the one staff member and the 2 residents, I think are all,
Asymptomatic. That's
and-
just what we're seeing more of.
yeah, right. When
yeah.
people are testing positive, they're
Right.
testing positive,
Right.
because now it's 5 of the 6 that had positive were, the staff members had the vaccine, the
Right.
first one.
Right. Yep.
So, and it was only one true one, and that particular staff member was like, I don't know how I would have gotten it,
Right.
but I don't have any symptoms, and, just,
Right.
that's it. We know this is not a symptomatic thing per se.
It
But-
isn't.
But again, I think all that to say that the vaccines are having a positive effect. The antibodies are building up inside of us,
Yep.
and so that's going to bode well for us for the future.
So segueing to their vaccine clinic next week. We are all very excited for that. Working on the schedule right now. I should have that out tomorrow or Friday. But just to share with you all, after reviewing our last clinic, we're going to do this one a hair different in that we're going to do all residents possible from independent living on Tuesday. So when I put out the schedule, make sure you look at your times, because we are still going to spread it out so we don't have 100 people come at the same time.
Right.
We're still going to spread it out in a time period. It might be a 30 to 45-minute window that your time slot will be. But plan on Tuesday next week, and the schedule will be out later this week. If you find you have a doctor appointment that you cannot get changed and it doesn't work with Tuesday, call me or email me and let me know, and we will work out something. But that's only for folks that really can't change an appointment. If I had everybody say they couldn't do Tuesday, we wouldn't be able to make this work. So
Yeah.
it's truly if you have a prior commitment that you cannot change. So, and we do have a few already that have given me a notice of that. So if you've already done that, you're fine. We've already taken care of that.
So Lisa, if I'm a resident and I'm scheduled for let's just pick it up, between 2 and 2:45, but
Right.
I have a doctor's appointment, but I could come in at 11 that day instead.
We will work that out with you.
Yeah, so we'd
Yes.
rather you stay on that day.
Yes,
Right?
absolutely. We're trying to keep all residents on one day.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, this is one of the things we learned from the first clinic, was that we would rather not have residents intermingling with contractors that might be coming
Right.
in.
Staff
we had the immediate
members.
family members.
Right,
We had staff members.
Right.
And we just thought this made sense to
Right.
do it this way. So we're going to really try and concentrate. We're going to have the highest number of shot givers from CVS
We
here
are.
on Tuesday. So our goal is to run it like we did the Tuesday from 4 weeks
and
ago.
it went so good.
And we were flying
yes.
through those. Residents weren't waiting more than about 10 or 15 minutes to
Exactly.
get through the line to get in.
Exactly. It ran so smooth.
And that's our goal this
Absolutely.
time around as well.
Yep,
So,
yep. So please email or call me with that, and we can just adjust times. But make sure you let us know, so that way we don't have a lot of folks coming at a certain time. I'll be kind of adjusting it so it still works right. So we don't want anybody to have to wait any longer than they have to. So
Right.
that's our goal. So very excited for that. Because of the vaccines next week, just like when we did the first clinic, we had to shut down Water's Edge. So that's one of the things that we're doing. So on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we're shutting down for the vaccine clinic. But we're also doing something a little bit further than that this time, because we have been told that the second vaccination can cause some more side effects.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to be proactive in that and simplify things, just make things a little bit easier to manage. Also, as residents might be experiencing symptoms, they may not want to go and eat in the Water's Edge and sit there for an hour waiting for their meal and eating and all that good stuff. So we're looking for something that might be a little bit quicker to go through. So we're actually coming up with some buffet menus for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So that gives us 3 days in the middle of that week that we think will help out everybody, residents and staff. If some of our staff are experiencing symptoms, it's just going to be a little bit harder to manage the normal restaurants. So like I said, just being proactive on that. And we have some great menus.
Yeah.
So they're going to be posted on CareMerge, so you can take a look at those. With that, the bistro still will run as usual for breakfast. Nothing's affected there. The special buffet bars, they will be in the bistro for lunch and dinner and the clubhouse. So you're actually going to have two options for buffets. So the lunches will be different in both, and the dinners will be different in both. And you have the choice to go to either one. You'll go through the line. You will not call in for these days. This is truly, you go through a line to pick up your meal. And it should go very smooth.
Yeah.
You know, a lot like what we did in the beginning down in the bistro. It's a buffet line. We'll have food ready. A lot of good comfort foods, some popular items. Fried chicken might be on there.
I'm thinking fried chicken's going to be on there somewhere.
It could be.
So.
A seafood platter could be on there one day.
Right.
A taco bar could be one day.
Yeah.
Just some really, really good things. So, and I think that will help out both residents and staff be able to make it through that vaccine clinic
Yeah, I mean, if
and the side effects of it.
the residents might be saying, well, why are you doing it on Tuesday? Because, we're all going to be getting our shots on Tuesday, and Wednesday would probably be if we're going to have a bad day, Wednesday would be our worst day.
Sure.
And the reality is we're going to have our dining team going through on Monday evening
Right.
or Monday afternoon to get their shots.
Yeah.
So we think Tuesday could be a rough day for our staff,
Right.
trying to get prepared. And so we need Tuesday and Wednesday. And Thursday is just a precautionary day because
Right.
we have heard that it could linger, the flu-like symptoms, whatever, headaches, that stuff could linger for a couple days. So trying to give ourselves the benefit of the doubt, not push too hard, and just kind of take it easy as a community for Tuesday,
Right,
Wednesday,
right.
and Thursday.
Absolutely.
And I think this will be really good. And I think
I
the
think it
food,
will
the food
too.
choices are going to be awesome.
Yes.
But we need to make sure
Yeah.
everybody understands there is no exceptions to this.
Right.
You will not be calling in. I mean,
Right.
The only exceptions might be if we had anybody that was actually
Yes,
on.
if you're in quarantine.
If you're quarantined or in isolation. then
Yes,
that you
yep,
do
or
it
sick, we will
different. But,
deliver that, so absolutely, and you'll get off the buffet menu. There won't be regular menus those days.
Yeah, so
It's
you're not
truly
gonna be-
just the buffet.
No salad bar.
Right, right.
Making salads for you.
Right,
making
right.
sandwiches.
Absolutely.
No grill at the
The other
cinema.
areas will be closed down, it's just the buffet those
Yeah.
days.
So we're asking you to kind of endure that for 3 days. And I think hopefully the trade-off there is we got a lot of neat comfort
It's
food that's
absolutely,
going to be
yeah, I think people will
part
be
of it.
very pleased when they see the menus.
Yeah, it's a little
So,
different. So
yep.
I think it'll be good.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, the Coffee and Creamery.
Yeah, before you get there,
Yes.
there was one thing I wanted to mention about the vaccine clinic that we
Okay.
didn't, and that is, which I think is really good news. I think you all know the staff participation was good for the first one, but we still had some work to do to try and keep encouraging our staff, and especially even at this shot clinic that's coming up next week, we've been really trying to encourage staff to be able to come through and get it. And we're up to about 40 staff members.
Additional staff members.
These will be getting their first
Right,
shot. So
right.
that's a lot of additional folks.
It
That's really
is.
going to increase our percentage. And
Absolutely.
we're pleased that we've got 40
We are,
more
we
coming.
are.
And we're still working on a few.
Yep.
And so we could see that number
Yep,
still climb.
absolutely.
I'm excited because, eventually we're going to get the staff there. The residents obviously all understand and know the
Right,
importance
right.
of this. And we're trying to help the staff. There's a lot of nervous staff members. I don't know how else to
Right.
say it. They're just the good thing is, they saw all of us take the first
Right,
shot.
they saw
and
we survived.
well, we didn't die right
That's
away or
right,
keel
that's
over or
right.
have heart attacks or
Absolutely.
anything else. And so they, we're not. Yeah, but other than Ken, everybody else did very well. But
I don't think you're on.
I'm dead.
so
I've died.
Ken died.
Ken's microphone died, so we'll get Michelle to come up and take care of that for him. But
But it was
so
interesting.
Ken really did die. I mean, that was really, so.
It was interesting after that first vaccine. A week after that, I can't tell you how many staff members we had approach us, well, I'm going to go ahead and get it the next time.
Yeah.
And I said, well, because we lived, is that why you were just waiting to see? and,
So-
and some were. Some truly were just afraid of it. And the national average in our type of industry is what, 40%?
Yeah. And
We
we're
were
a good bit above
60
that.
plus.
Yeah, in independent living, we were 62%.
So, I mean, that,
And honestly, I haven't figured out the percentage, but with the new folks coming in, there's Actually,
It's-
there's a nice number of nursing staff that are going to be a part of this
Absolutely.
40, but,
Yes.
I know that our percentage is, we're going to be approaching
Right,
70% by the time we're
right.
done, which would be great.
That's
if we can
right.
get there. If you had asked me if we'd be at 70%, an independent
Right.
living by, after the second dose, I would have
Would
told you
never.
that I thought you were crazy,
Yeah,
but,
absolutely. So one at a time, we're just
Yeah.
working away at it.
well, and the other piece of this that I
educating.
wanted to share was, the CBS will come back to do the third shot clinic to give the second
Mm-hmm.
shots to the 50 or however many, the ones
Right.
that are getting their
Right.
first shot next week. So we have talked to them, and they are all going to be willing to go ahead and do a first vaccine on the third shot clinic for anybody else who hasn't had it at that point. Now, we're still figuring out how those people would get the second one, but I don't think we're talking about a ton of people, so we can
Right.
probably figure out a way to get that done. They said that by then, they might even be at a place
Have it
where
in the stores?
those folks could go to CVS and
Right,
just get the
right.
shot at that
Yeah.
point. The WIC would just go ahead and save
Sure.
one for them and make an appointment and have them come in and do it. So we still got some opportunity beyond that.
Absolutely.
So we'll keep
Yes.
working on
Yep.
our
Yep.
percentage.
But we've been pleased so far of seeing that
Yeah,
number go up.
I've been
so-
happy.
Absolutely.
We're doing a good job starting to kind of very nicely talk some people
Mm-hmm.
into doing it. And some just needed a little encouragement.
Absolutely. Yep, for sure.
Okay, sorry, we spent a lot of time on that.
Okay, going back, the coffee and creamery,
Yes,
we all have been missing our coffees.
Mm-hmm.
I know that. I don't like coffee, so it's not me. But I'm speaking for Cindy. Okay? Cindy's just, she struggles without her coffee. And so we need to get that creamery back. And we will, as of Friday. We'll be back up and running.
Yay.
Everybody will be back to work and all that good stuff. So we're very excited for that.
awesome.
So that will be Friday. Let's see. Well, we're talking about COVID still and vaccines and all that good stuff. We have been talking about future.
Yeah.
We get a lot of questions from residents.
Yeah.
What will happen? Like, we know we have to wait 14 to 20 days after our second vaccine to really be at the 95% effective. So we're kind of talking March 1st.
Yeah,
What kind of things could we,
yeah, so,
what could we start looking at?
this is where it gets a little bit different for us. Quite honestly, we have been kind of following the governor's orders up to this point, and, we'll continue to try and do that to the most part, even after March 1st.
Sure.
But, we're going to be, the governor's goal here is for us to get this herd immunity level, right, out in the public. And that, that's where you've got, 50, 60, 70% of the population that have had the vaccine or have had COVID, I guess, at that point. And, that's the point where they really think that we're going to see the numbers just kind of drop dramatically. Well, River Landing, March 1st, we're going to, because of our level of staff that are participating, because of our 98%
Right,
residents,
right.
and we're still talking to a couple residents trying
Right,
to
we'll
get the
probably be at
last.
99 easily.
We'll probably get
Yeah,
close to
yeah.
99%, so hopefully.
Yep.
We're going to reach that immunity level and that bubble here. And you all have heard this, I'll say it again for the sake of repeating it, because I think it's important to share. We have been going outside even our little protective bubble, in that people that come into our campus that are not staff members or residents, that are support services for us, some of our contractors, some of our caregivers, our
massage
beauticians.
therapists, right.
We have invited
right.
them to come and actually get the shots, because we've had extra, and so we think that's a really good use of that. And again, it's all about trying to make that protective bubble as strong as we possibly can. And so the more people that we have that come on our campus more often that have that vaccine, the better for our community. So we're constantly working on that. And then you also know that the other part of that is, from a staff member's perspective, from an incentive standpoint, we had talked to staff last time about if they have people that live in their houses that they want to get vaccinated, where we had enough vaccine to be able to do that. And we didn't have, it wasn't a ton,
No,
Lisa, but
no.
there was
some.
It was a nice amount
Yep.
that had their mom and dad, or they had
Right.
their older brothers and sisters if they lived with them that were
Right,
coming in.
right.
And it was, I think that was really good because, obviously our goal here is if we can eliminate staff members from being, having to worry about that at their homes.
Right.
So that there's not that outside influences
Right.
coming in on them there, then we can be more assured that they're, first
don't
of all,
bring
they're
it
not
here.
bringing in here. Or
Right,
second of all,
right.
that they're going to be able to come in and work.
Absolutely.
Because we're not going to be worried about them having to go out on isolation or quarantine or whatever.
Yep.
So that's all worked very well, I think. But though, to go maybe a little further into what you were asking, so once we got this protective bubble in place, I think we want to start looking at things, maybe not, we're not going to open up the floodgates. I don't want to scare
Right,
anybody. We're not
right,
going to open up the floodgates right away. But, can we be in a position where can residents start eating with other residents again at the meals? And I think the answer to that's going to be yes. I think we can do that. Can we do some different things in the wellness center? Could people go without masks there? Well, the governor's edict is about masks, and so we still got some work to do about whether or not we can do that or not, but I'm hopeful that we can do that. I think that would be great if we can do that. Could we start having, limited events here in the multipurpose room where we could have 50 or 60 people come to a live event, but still have them wearing masks,
And
still
social
have
distance.
them socially distanced?
Right.
I think the answer is yes. I think
Right.
we can be doing some of these things and start getting some of our normalcy back a little bit.
Right.
And so we're working on a plan. I've been pushing it through our corporate folks a little bit. And they're a good offset to me. I'm a little bit more aggressive in wanting to try and open up the community. They're a little bit more conservative. And you all know this. I've told you this time and time again on the show. We've been a little bit more willing to do these things than what our sister communities have been doing.
Right.
They have been very conservative. Friends Homes is still delivering meals to their residents with one or two choices. Glen Eyre is about ready because their renovation is just about done. They're about ready to maybe start opening up their dining rooms, which is great. And Scotia, I think, has just done it on a limited basis, maybe a little bit here and there. But, we've just been out there a little bit more and been, wanting to be able to kind of, and I think it's proven that we've been safe in what we've been doing, but we've also pushed it a little bit to try and give our residents a little bit more normalcy.
Right.
And to me,
Right.
that's...
And choice, yes.
So we'll continue to try and do that, and I'll keep trying to push that direction because I think we can do that. If we can't do that after we've had 2 shots and at 95%, roughly 95% efficacy,
Right.
when are we ever going to be able to do it if we can't do it
So
then?
it may never be better than that.
No, so we're going to keep pushing in our protective bubble. Now, let me make that clear. In our protective bubble, we're going to try and be able to do things. Now, I will tell you, once you leave the premises, once you go through those gates and go out, it's back to, everything out there is back to where the governor has it and where they have everything set up at, and you need to protect yourself. Even though you've had the vaccine, you still need to protect yourself. And, visitations and visitors and all that, there's a lot to talk about
Sure,
there.
sure.
And I don't want to get into that today
Yeah.
because we're still really kind of working our way through that.
But that's just a little taste, at least. I think the dining is a big one for folks.
Yeah.
We've heard a lot about that. We miss dining with each other.
Yeah.
And I get that.
Yeah.
So that is definitely one that we would be looking at.
And we got a chance to talk just a little bit of a framework of what we've been thinking about to our council, resident council yesterday.
Yes.
And so, I think we've got them starting to think about that a little bit as
Right,
well. And
right.
so, and I know we're going to have residents on the full scale. We're going to have residents that are like, bring it on. When are you going to open up? You're not opening up fast enough. And then we're going to have other residents who are saying, whoa, you're going too fast, you're going too fast. And so, our goal is really to try and find some happy medium there where we can still kind of start working towards reopening, but still do it in a safe way. So
Well, residents can choose how they want to
Absolutely.
re-engage.
They absolutely can,
It's a personal
Ken.
choice. Yes.
that is a very true
Yes,
statement.
yes.
So, if you don't feel comfortable going and eating with other residents at this point, you don't have to.
You don't have
That's
to.
right. You don't have to do
You
that.
can get a table for one.
That's right.
So we will work with everybody's level of
So,
fear with that.
I think it's very exciting. On a future show, it won't be next week. Probably,
Right.
maybe the week after, we can start talking into this
Sure.
and diving into this a little bit. But we'll start talking about what we're going to do. And it might be a phase thing where we do some stuff on March 1st, and then we might have some more on April 1st, and then we might have some more on May 1st. And by then, we'll also be able to see what's going on in the world around
Right,
us and how that might
absolutely.
affect us too. So,
Yep. Sounds good.
yeah, I think it's exciting.
It's just hopeful.
It's
You know,
hopeful,
looking-
and we
yep,
want-
looking toward the future.
We all want hope, right?
We do,
We all
we
want
do.
hope.
Okay, non-COVID related. We are looking for photographers for the scrapbook. And hopefully we have events this year we can photograph.
Yes.
That's what we're going for. That's our goal this year. We want true fun events this year that we can photograph. So any photographers out there that would like to join the scrapbook team, we would love to have you. So let Brian Stroud know if you're interested. The gift shop, want to put a plug in for them. We
Yeah.
have a wonderful gift shop here. And I think you all know the funds that are raised in the gift shop, all that goes back into the community. The resident council actually helps decide what items get purchased from the gift shop funds. So it's a pretty neat project and a great place to support here.
Well, and I think this goes without saying, but I'll say it anyway, just in case somebody didn't notice. We as the administration have
Right.
nothing to do with the gift shop.
We don't.
I mean, that's all resident run, it's all
And
resident
it's all
driven.
volunteers.
It's all volunteers.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
that's a resident controlled thing.
It is.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And they do a great job. I just bought a lot of jewelry today. Thank you, Mary Beth Lynch, for helping me. So I do my part. Now I need others to do theirs. So just to put a shout out, they have a post-Christmas sale. I know it's hard to think about Christmas, but you get some really good deals right now and save it for next year. Well, this year, but later in the year.
Yes, right.
They also have a small supply of KN95 masks. So some folks have been asking about that. So they do have that in the gift shop, a small supply of those. And they also have a pre-Valentine's sale on jewelry going on. So you definitely want to check that out as well. Okay, how about an update on construction, Tom?
Yeah, so we really haven't had much construction
We
here
haven't.
in the last
It's
couple
been kind of
months.
quiet.
With the positivity rate around us in the county, and then, also dealing with some of the issues and outbreaks we had
Right.
in the healthcare center. You all know that the one main thing we have left from the phase one of our master plan for the reconstruction and construction that we're doing and renovation that we're doing is we didn't finish in the healthcare center. So we finally got to that point this week, I should say the end of last week and the beginning of this week, where we felt comfortable enough with where we were from outside of River Landing and in here as well, that we've moved several residents in the Pebble Beach 2 area. We have moved them out. Probably the biggest thing we have left in the healthcare renovation is that is where the nurses station is in Pebble Beach 2, walking towards the therapy area where Wingfoot is. That corridor right there is going to get a major makeover, and we're going to change it. Again, I know it's been a while since we've done this. The whole goal for the renovation in the healthcare center was to create households, and also to have, to me, the bigger thing was, not that that's not important, but the bigger thing was, when you walk down the hallways of the old healthcare center, when you could do that, you were able to see into residents' rooms as you were walking down. The residents really never got, in my opinion, they never got the proper privacy that they wanted unless they shut their door. And that's not the greatest thing either, right? So how would you like it if you were in your home, in your bedroom, and you had 100 people walking by every day? You don't like that either, right? So the idea here is to change that corridor, create these households, so that the only ones that really are going into these households are the residents, their family members, and the staff that are serving those areas. So this is the last big piece of that. So we've moved residents over the last 3 days, Friday, Monday, and yesterday. And so we've got the residents out of that area, and we're going to be starting in there. And that's a 4-month project, roughly, to finish that. And so we'll be very happy, because I think we're all ready for that part to be done. Mm-hmm. So that's the healthcare renovation. Now, we still have some other smaller projects that we're getting ready to get cranking up on. With springtime coming, a couple of the smaller ones is, we've been a little slow in getting Scooter's storage building built. So we're going to be building a building that's going to go on the other side of where we park the buses up, where Scooter's building is, where the golf and grounds building is. And so it'd be more of a storage, unheated storage building where we can just bring things in from the outside to try and keep them from, accumulating a
Clean
lot
out
of
the
rust and
elements,
different
yeah.
things like that.
Right.
So that's going to happen. Hopefully, that's going to happen sometime. I'm thinking it's probably going to be late spring, early summer before we get there, because we have to order the steel, and steel's really kind of hard to get right now. The other thing we're doing up in that area is, we had the gravel parking lot up there that we created when we built the clubhouse and we did the cottages and all up there. So we're going to pave that, and that's going to happen. That might be the first thing that actually gets done. We're trying to work through that to see if we can get that done sometime in March, or at the latest maybe early April. So I'm hoping for that. And then the last thing I think worth sharing is, and I've talked about this from time to time, we've still got, you haven't been in here to see it, but we've still got an issue with leaks here in the multipurpose room side, and then because of the balconies overhead, and then the balcony over the water's edge, that we have some leaks there, not quite as bad, but we have leaks there. And so we have had, this has been an ongoing problem, quite honestly, for the last 15 years. And we just have brought in leak specialists after leak specialists and different folks trying to fix it. And we'll get it to a point where we seem like we got it fixed for a while, and then it starts happening again. So I quite honestly, personally, I'm tired of the leak situation, and I want to fix it once and for all. And so we have come up with this plan to actually to go vertical over the balconies and create usable space on those balconies, both on the multipurpose room side and on the dining room side, the water's edge side. But that's a pretty big endeavor. We have put that out for bid to see if we can get something that we felt like would work for us from a cost standpoint. And so this week, as a matter of fact, yesterday, I was going over the bids with our corporate folks, and we've got some viable bids. So now it's not a question of if so much, it's more now of a question of when we're going to be doing this. And so we're still kind of evaluating that. But I want to prepare everybody a little bit for that, because I think you would think that wouldn't be a huge deal, going above and just putting in enclosed space. It's a little bit more involved than what we think, because they're going to basically be ripping off the balconies off of the exposing space on the multipurpose room side and on the dining room side. So we could actually have those areas, that portion of the dining room, that portion of the multipurpose room could be unusable for a few months as they're going through the destruction side of it, and then they have to reconstruct it with the new steel and everything else that we're going to be doing there. So I don't have a ton of details yet, because I don't have exactly the sequencing that the companies and we haven't picked a company yet. We're down to 2 that we're trying to choose between. But that'll be coming, and that could start fairly soon. It's a 7 or 8 month project from start to finish. It's not a quick turnaround, unfortunately. I was kind of hoping it was going to be a 3 or 4 monther, but anymore, when I think it's 3 or 4 months, I usually have to double it, and that's about what it is now. It's going to be 7 or 8 months, I think, to do this. Now, again, want to just make sure I share this with you. Even though we will not have use of part of the multipurpose room and part of the dining room for a period of time, it's not the full 7 or 8 months. So the first goal will be to try and do our reconstruction work and then get these areas back into a useful, and they can work over top of it then at that point. They just can't work on it. We don't want them working underneath of it. So we'll get there, but that's coming up too, Lisa. So
It's all exciting stuff.
well, it is, and that's the side that's over top, and if you want to, and sometimes people have a hard time visualizing this. So what I'm talking about is, if you've been in our living room, there's balconies on both sides. So that's the balconies I'm talking about that would be enclosed, and the one that's the balconies on the living room side that goes over the dining room, which will actually connect up with where the card room is. That's going to become all usable space for resident functions and resident events and different things like that.
It would be great to have an addition like that to the living room.
Additional card room. I mean, we can use it for anything we want to use it for. It'll be great.
Yep.
And then, quite honestly, the other side is going to be additional office space, which we need. We really are clawing at spaces, trying to find ways to be able to get the extra office space that we need. So we're going to solve a couple issues by doing it that way, too. So. Okay, Lisa, we're an hour into this thing. We haven't gotten to the questions yet.
Okay, we
And
did
we
have
thought
a-
this was going to be a short one today, right? So
Yeah.
Ken's over here. He's already lost his batteries and everything at this point. So
You know, a lot of these we've addressed already. So the one, should we expect more side effects with the second vaccine?
Yeah, we know
We've
that.
talked about that.
Yeah.
Yes, you could expect that.
Right.
Possibly
Although
temperature, soreness, nausea.
We were hearing that it's, and I think this is finally a good thing for residents, right? It's the younger folks that seem to be having the more side effects than the folks that are older. So we'll see, right?
Okay, we used to order meals for delivery and pay for that service. So for folks that haven't been here when we've done this, because we did stop that during the pandemic, that's more for convenience. Let's say, I just want to eat at home tonight, I'm not sick or anything, but I want to pay to have it delivered to me. We used to do that, and you would get charged $2. It wasn't your dining dollars. It was $2 that we would bill to you on your resident account, so it was real money. It wasn't the funny money.
Right.
And this person is asking, will we ever go back to that, or will it always be for sick or quarantined folks, the delivery? And that is something we're definitely looking at. Joseph definitely wants to put that back in place someday. We just have not been able to manage that along with quarantines and
It's not-
COVID and
it's
all
not
that
yet
good
the right
stuff.
timing,
It's not, but
it's coming.
But just know it's coming.
Yeah.
So that was a great question, and we'll let you know as soon as we can implement that again.
Right.
I am a single resident, and I eat by myself in the dining room. I see my other friend who's a single resident, she eats in the dining room as well around the same time. Can I go over and visit with her?
No, please.
No. Unfortunately, that's what we're trying to prevent right now. We need to get that second vaccine in us and get to that more effective rate before we do the mingling during mealtime. So that's why we suspended that right now. When you have your mask off and eating, you're more vulnerable to each other that way. So please do not visit with other folks in the dining areas when you're passing through, or don't go to other people's tables. That's just something we need to avoid right now.
But we'll go back to that.
We're going to get back there someday, and it's not that far off. Okay, if I didn't get the vaccine in the first round, can I get it at the second clinic next week? Absolutely. We only have a few folks, but I had one person ask about that today, so you absolutely could. So for folks that haven't had it yet, just let me know. We can add your name. Yep.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Ken,
I think we just keep on going.
you want to save your stuff for next week?
Yeah, it's 4 o'clock. Let's keep running. All
Okay.
right.
Okay, so birthdays. Monday, we had Nelda King, Anita Pearson, Larry Simon, Tony Bledsoe. Tuesday, we had Harry Lee Blum, Mary Dagenhart, and Joseph Lorber.
Wow.
Today, we have Renda Steele. She has the day all to herself. Mm-hmm. Thursday, Joseph Grubbs.
He's got the day all to himself.
Yes. Friday, Pete Hicks.
And he has a day all to himself.
Saturday, Ed Caress.
Yeah, I say more.
Sunday, Doris Blue and Hunter Thompson. And for staff members, yesterday we had Denalia Granados, nursing.
Good job, Lisa.
I know, thank you. Today we have Anna Marie Gallo in EVS. Friday, Carolyn Muslim in dining.
Yep, I think that's right.
And Sabrina Muncie in nursing. Sunday we have Zachary Prada in EVS. So, very good.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthdays to all of you. That's a lot of
Great
birthdays. That's
It
great.
is a lot. The trivia question from Shirley Bear. Which Super Bowl did not have a Roman numeral in its title, and which two teams played in that game? So the answer is Super Bowl 50. The NFL decided to use the number 50 instead of the numeral L because they thought L was not marketable for such a big-time game. The two teams that played were
Yeah, the Panthers and the Broncos.
Panthers or Broncos.
I was like, Lisa, couldn't you find a one that just did, just open up old wounds, with the Panthers losing?
Well, we didn't have to say that part.
Well, they could have put the L on there because we were losers for that game, right? I mean,
Okay, so the Panthers lost the game 24-10 Peyton Manning was the quarterback for the Broncos, and it turned out to be his last game because he retired afterwards.
Yes, he did.
So.
And he should have, because he didn't win that game for him, that's for sure. So.
Okay, so the winner is Lou Insidious.
Ah, very good, Lou.
Yes, congratulations.
Congrats.
Bottle of wine.
See, I
heading your
thought that
way.
was a tricky one, because like every Super Bowl has a Roman numeral, so
Yeah.
You know, and I was like,
It was tricky.
50 had the L, and then I was like,
Yep.
oh no, I guess
No.
they advertised it as Super Bowl 50.
They did.
That was
They did.
the only one they've done like that,
Yep,
right?
that's right. Okay, so next week, the River Churns on your calendar says next Thursday, because we were going to do it the day after the vaccine clinic. However, Tom and I are a little worried that
We might be too
that
sore.
we might, that the three of us
Welcome to the River Churns Show.
the three of us might not be in the best shape on Thursday because we're going to get our vaccines on Wednesday.
Right.
So we just are trying to be proactive there. We don't want to give you a bad show.
Right.
Yeah, and I think we just decided that, because normally most of us had ours on Monday the last
We
time.
did.
But we decided that if we do have some side effects from that, we don't want to do it Monday because we want to make sure.
'Cause then we're working all week with
we
it.
Want our,
Yeah.
We want our clinic to run really well. So
Yeah.
we're going to do it kind of like the end of the day on
Right,
Wednesday.
right.
That way, if, we have some side effects, then Thursday we can
Yep.
kind of recover from that if we
Exactly,
need to.
exactly.
And hopefully we won't need to worry about that, but we're just taking the precautions.
That's right.
And if I don't have side effects, I'll be drinking. I know that. Celebration.
Amen.
Well, that's
to that.
true. That's true. So we're going to have it Friday instead. So we're not going to skip it for the week. We're just going to postpone it a day. So Friday.
Yeah.
Okay?
Thank goodness it's Friday.
I know. You could end with us for the week.
Yes.
So the next time we come on the show,
Yes.
we'll be done with our second vaccine
Yes.
clinic. We'll have 98, maybe 99% of our residents, up to 70% of our staff. We're going to be feeling pretty good then.
Yes, we are.
Maybe not quite physically at that point yet, but I think we will. But we know
We're tough. We're tough.
We're done, right? And we're tough. We'll
That's
get
right.
through this.
That's
so, so I'm really excited. This
Yes,
is the last show for
absolutely.
that, so.
Yep.
So be praying that things go well with the group coming out. No bad weather. We don't want to have any bad weather next Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. We want because the group that comes out and does it is actually not local. They're coming from the Durham, Raleigh area.
Right,
So it's
right.
a special group that's doing this for us. So, yeah, so just, be saying a little prayer that this all works out the way we want it to next week. And so, very excited.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
And our other two sister communities that have already gotten their second vaccine, so I think we scared everybody a little bit, so I'm trying not to scare you. So I actually talked with Alan at Scotia, because they had theirs Thursday last week, and he said they actually didn't have any call-outs from any of their staff the next day, and that I think most of the residents were fine, just some slight side effects,
Right,
which
right.
we know. And some of us had the slightest side effects from the last one,
We
right?
did, we did.
A little sore
Yep,
arm, maybe
we
a little
did.
tender to the touch.
Yeah.
I had a headache that night. I was one.
I did too.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
that was
That
when
means
I,
it was working.
but that's when I took the ibuprofen. I was like, oh,
And then you were told.
Tylenol
only.
Tylenol. And don't take anything before. Don't take any ibuprofen or Aleve or anything like that before the night before you get your shot
That's
either.
right.
So
That's right.
apparently that has some sort of effect.
slows
on
the
how
effect
fast
or something.
whatever it does.
Yeah.
I don't know what it does, but
Yep.
so
Okay, well,
we're going to end it there.
okay, that sounds good.
Yeah, because I think we've gone. We're over an hour. Well,
Where did the
this will
time
be
go?
something that we can read. We've gotten some cards from some folks that went through the CHS thing that we
Christmas
did,
drive-through.
Christmas drive-through, and so they're really nice cards, and
Yep.
we're going to go ahead and do that at our next show.
That sounds good.
We'll read those at that time. So
Super.
we didn't let Ken go, so I don't think it's fair to be able to read
Yeah.
those cards.
My humor ages well. It gets
It
better
gets better.
with time. Yeah, it does.
Better.
Just like this blue quail.
That's right.
Blue quail. All right, so we're an hour and 7 minutes past. We started a little late, though. Remember, we started
We
at 3:03.
did. We did. We were running down here.
We were
so
running. So that agenda that we had was hot off the press.
it was hot off the press.
Well, we hope you all have a great Wednesday afternoon. Thanks for enduring with us an hour of the Churn Show, or as somebody said, as the stomach churns to us
They
today,
did say
right?
that today. Yes.
This summer we had a resident tell us that we were asking as the stomach churns was going to be on today. And so hope you all have enjoyed the show. I think it's been a lot of information, but a lot of exciting stuff coming. I mean, really a lot of exciting stuff coming. And so we're almost there, folks. You know, we keep talking about that finish line. We're in the last sprint here at this point. So it's really looking good. And we're seeing that. We're seeing that, what do they call that banner at the end of the race, right? We're seeing that banner at the end of the race. We're about to go crashing through that banner.
Yep.
And so I'm really excited. So enjoy your Wednesday. Enjoy your weekend. We'll see all of you on, if not during the day, the next few days. We're going to see you for the vaccine clinic coming up.
Yes.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Stay healthy.
Yes.
Yes.
Stay healthy.
We're so close. Stay healthy.
Yeah, stay healthy.
Yep.
So, all right. If you have any questions, let us know. We love you.
Bye.